Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's FileMaker webinar. My name is Mike Crook. I'm the marketing manager here for FileMaker in the UK, and I have with me Kieran Saunders, our FileMaker product specialist.
Good afternoon, everyone.
So in just a few moments, Kieran's going to be getting going with today's presentation, which is a general discovery session about the FileMaker platform. Before he does that, I'd just like to say, if you have any questions during the course of the session, feel free to ask them using the questions panel, which you'll find on the right-hand side of your screen. We'll do our best to address as many of those as we can towards the end of the session, but if not, we'll follow up in due course with you afterwards. So that's all you're going to hear from me until that questions section at the end. So without any further ado, I shall hand over to Kieran to get started. Kieran.
Thank you, Mike. So the agenda for today is, as Mike was explaining, is a general overview, as a discovery session. So we're going to be looking at why use FileMaker, what business needs does it answer, how is it going to help you and your business. We're going to have a look at a few real-world examples of systems out there. Then we're going to explore in a bit more detail the FileMaker platform. And then we're going to dive into what do we mean when we say a custom app? What does that mean, and how do you get started? And then we're going to finish off with looking at some of our starter solutions, our templates, to help you get started after this webinar. So just quickly, who is FileMaker? Well, FileMaker is an Apple subsidiary. We've sold more than 20 million copies of FileMaker around the world. We're very happy that we've had over 1 million downloads of FileMaker Go, which is our mobile client on the iOS platform, and had over a million downloads, which is amazing. And also, if you're joining us from outside of the UK, which I think a few of you are, we're available in over 17 languages. So what is the one big challenge, really, or the three big challenges we hear our customers are hitting out there? And they involve slow manual processes, scattered information, and rigid technology. You yourself probably have hit this in one organization, if not the organization you're in right now, where you'll have some kind of process that hasn't really been looked at in the last 10 years, is a very manual process. Maybe it started off as an ad hoc, quick change to a process, but is solidified into the business and is slow, error prone, and really could look at being changed. Scattered information, we hear this a lot. You know, the data is everywhere. You know, it's in multiple applications, in notebooks and spreadsheets, on someone's iPad, but wherever it is, it never seems to be where it needs to be. And of course, this forces people to spend a lot of time and energy trying to get the information they need to make, valid business decisions. So it's one of the biggest issues we hear. And the other is rigid technology. Maybe somebody's brought in an iOS app that does a survey question, but it's out on the iPad. It's not connected to any of your business systems, and you created a silo of technology, or you've got some technology that isn't integrated, some hardware that isn't integrated into the business, and that's all that process again becomes manual maybe. So we think we have the answer. We're FileMaker being a rapid application development platform. We think if you look at the difference between a pre-built app and a custom solution, you'll find that the custom solution gives you a lot more flexibility. It should be the right size for your business because you've made it the exact right size, and it should help you to integrate lots of these different processes into your main systems that you may have already. So when we look out in the marketplace, we see overriding evidence that organizations are planning to have a mobile work strategy. We see that more and more as we go through the last couple of years, and it's something that we really think that we can help you achieve. So let's have a quick look at the platform and how you get started. So hopefully, if you're on this webinar, you've already downloaded a trial of FileMaker Pro or Pro Advanced, and this is where you do your your building of your application. This is where you build your file that you then would upload onto a server, whether that be on-premise or in the cloud. And then that would serve up to our three main clients: our FileMaker Go on the iOS platform on iPhones and iPads, FileMaker Go that's cross-platform on Macs and Windows machines, and WebDirect for those of you that, for whatever reason, or business partners, you'd want to have come and access your business solutions over a browser. So the browsers now also expand not just to the desktop with WebDirect, but also to mobile devices that possibly aren't iOS. So let's have a look at some of the use cases that our developers and our customers have given us screenshots and we've put on the website. We've got anything from a private jet management system. We've got the hotel management system there that's actually looking after the fridges in the rooms. We've got a salon over in Japan. Archaeologically management system there out in the field, maps, very useful information. A medical sales system, so sales guys out on the road with dashboards and KPIs. And we've got a job safety analysis application for a very large engineering firm across multiple sites and very, very big sites. And one that's a bit closer to home that we absolutely love this customer, the Metropolis Studios, just down the road outside of in West London. One of the biggest and most well-respected music studios in the world. As you can see there from the quote, just actually getting FileMaker has replaced a large financial system that was costing them a lot of money and not well suited. With using FileMaker, they've really got up and running very fast, grown and developed, and they're changing it as their needs change. So a great example. We've also got a video on the website if you want to go and learn more about this particular customer story. So very quickly, we've covered off, the why we're here, the scattered information being one of the biggest issues. We've looked at a few real-life uses of FileMaker, and we've very quickly just explored the platform and the clients and the process that you would go through. So let's have a look at what are custom apps. What do we mean when we say custom apps? Well, what we mean is that an app should contain all of these different things. It's not just obviously the form, the front end, but it's obviously, of course, the data, the interface where you're using the application. There's the logic, the business logic, and the business processes that you've put into this application, and of course, that's all well and good. But having some reporting, of course, is where the real value is, especially to the management team. And again, if you're going mobile or just generally, you're going to want some kind of security around this. This is your data, this is your business data, and you're going to want to be happy that you've made that secure. So where FileMaker really helps, where our big advantages in creating your custom app is that we've always had a massive focus on making that process of building a custom app as easy to use as possible. We're iOS ready, and as we'll see as we go through, just one skill set allows you to develop for the desktop, the iPad, iPhone, and the web. And of course, it's all about sharing with your team. That's the data, that process, that scattered information. We're all about trying to connect in your team and share that data successfully. And we've got built-in report tools. You don't need to go to a third party to get those business reports generated. So let's have a look. So I've got an example here. This is the Tailor-Fit example. This is based upon a real customer, franchise of gyms, and it's completely transformed their business. They had a paper process, generally all the way through, very manual paper process throughout their organization, right from signing up a new customer for the gym itself, signing up for the first time, the gym trainers, that's the word I was looking for. The trainers were using very manual processes, their own particular processes to manage their clients when they come into the gym. And the actual office staff themselves, again, had very scattered systems and Excel sheets, and there was no real joining of all of these different processes. So they actually went to an Apple store, joined FileMaker and Apple in an event about getting paper to an iPad. Came out of that, had a 10-hour project, and really started transforming the business. And I'll try and explain which part of that 10-hour came out of this. So let's just quickly go through. So this is actually on my iPad, sitting on my desk here, my iPad Pro. And this is what they actually have at in their sort of office room when they come and meet their new customers to sign them up. So they would get their customer to start putting in their email address in, and then creating a username and password. And then, of course, they would be putting in their name, and it's nicely filling out all the information out for me, but you can imagine going through that form, putting in the information. You're not having it sort of written down on a piece of paper and then someone in the back office staff having to retype that out. Coming through to the next stage is just to confirm that they're okay to go into the gym. They've got no big medical problems. And taking a signature directly on the iPad, very easy to do with FileMaker, and then an agreement, a release form. So just tapping through there to sign that they've read and understood the terms. Next stage, of course, is to find out, in this gym, it's a little bit different from maybe possibly some of our UK gyms in that when you go, you always see a trainer. You always, certainly when you sign up in the UK gym, you usually get a trainer session anyway. But in this in their business model, you always go and you always have a trainer to work with. So you can go and have a look at the trainers there, select which one you fancy going with and selecting them. And then coming through to a very nice a calendar view to see when they're available for you to see them, which is great. So once we've done that, we get an email address. We get an email confirming all of this, T's and C's and everything else, and then a diary invite to see Keith. So that one stage really has changed their business from, you can imagine, if I think they have something like 32 gyms, paper processes being mailed or faxed to the head office, someone retyping that into a system, just very slow, very clunky. With this system, as soon as the customer has actually put that information into the iPad, it's in the system, it's all done, and much less errors are going to happen. So quickly, because it's not all about this file, but just quickly want to show you the other side of the business, which of course is the trainers. So they'd be walking around the gym with their clients, finding out what station they're next to, and recording their progress over time of how they've been doing when they go to the gym. They can take photos, as you can see, or a video. Some nice functionality, and the trainers really love it, tailored to exactly what they want to do. So back in the back office, the owners of the business really didn't have a great overview of their business until this FileMaker, other bits of the FileMaker system came in. Suddenly, they had lots of information. They could start dashboarding, start really, really looking at their business and seeing how they're doing over time in terms of their membership, their trainers, and their equipment, and how to utilize them all and to the best possible way. So fantastic solution. So just I'll take this iPad off to the side and just show you the other tool, which of course is FileMaker Pro. So same solution. This is just local on my desktop here, and within FileMaker Pro, this is how you would go into these layouts. You would edit them. You can start moving things around. Everything is customizable, of course. You've got scripts that do the business logic. You've got the layouts where you design the forms. You can see multiple layouts here for the solution. It's quite not a massively complex file, but it's a very well-produced professional file. And you can see that you've got different tools here to work within your solution. You've got text tools, so you can just start typing information in, lines and boxes. You've got buttons that are highlighted here, so you can action, a user can click on a button to action a script or a certain action. And lots of other tools to help you, including charts, to help you build out a solution. So this is the kind of layout type part of FileMaker. When the scripts, if we just quickly go into the scripts, you can see that we've got a full coding environment here where we can start building out some very, very comprehensive business logic to attach onto the layouts. So we've got the script names on the side here, and you can search through them. You've got all the different script steps themselves. And the great thing about FileMaker, if you are starting out, you've never really coded before, you've never done any formal programming, you can see that a lot of here, let's go to one of the navigation ones. Go to layout is a widely used one you can imagine. You put a button on the form, go to layout, go to another layout to complete a process. It's all in fairly easy language. It's not trying to confuse people. But it's very comprehensive. Like I said, it manages big departments and small medium businesses. So there's almost nothing that I've come across that it can't do. But it's a great, easy to use scripting language. So there's a quick overview of the scripts, a quick overview of the layout. Within the two products on the desktops, we have FileMaker Pro and FileMaker Pro Advanced. As you can see, I'm using FileMaker Pro Advanced here. And if you go up to the tool menus, one of the big differences with FileMaker Advanced is that you've got a script debugger that will go through your different scripts and help you debug those scripts. So if I just go to browse mode here and start typing on something that pulls up a script, we can see that it's paused it. We can step through that, step through the script and see the actions and see what's going on. We can also bring up the data viewer that brings us and tells us what's going on, what's in these variables, what data is actually in the script, which is great. So very, very useful. There's lots of other features with FileMaker Advanced, but that's the main thing when you're starting out and developing. Very, very useful to have a script debugger, of course. Okay, so let's look on the other part. So say we've built this file, we're very happy with it. Let's try and get that onto our server. So I've got a server, the FileMaker server software installed on this laptop, and I'm just going to go and go to File, Sharing, and Upload to FileMaker Server. It's going to close that file, which is fine. And then I'm going to search for localhost, so search for the local servers in my area, my network, and upload that username, password, and upload that to my machine. So it's ready to be uploaded. We can upload that. So this could be an on-premise server on a box somewhere in your server room, or it could, like I say, be with one of our hosting partners in the cloud that you would be uploading to. So that's process now available to be open. So you can say open with FileMaker Pro, which is great, and it will open up. It'll be challenged for a username and password that we've already put on. And I'm brought to my file. So you can see here that I've got Tailor-Fit and in brackets is Nessie15, which is the name of my server. So that's great. That's now hosted, and I can now share that with my work group, my team. So there's several different ways of doing that. If I just close this down entirely, one is that people know how to use FileMaker maybe, and they go to File, Open, Remote. They find their server. You can have shared servers. You can favorite files, so you can find them straight away. There's also, if you can see here, there's pictures on them, icons, so you can give it a custom icon, which is very nice. I would just double click and open them up. So same as I did before, and then we're into the file. You can choose which layout it opens with, and you're into the file and sharing that. So your work group can do that. The other way that would be quite nice if people don't know that the file is there is that you can send a link to the database, which will open up your mail client, and they can just click on that link when they get that email, which is great. So several different ways of doing that. So once that file is up on the server, let's see if we can use the other part, which is WebDirect, and let's see how that comes through. So I've gone to the address of the server, and we can see that the Tailor-Fit webinar is available to open, and this is within a browser now, and I can very quickly open that up and go and have a look at some information. In this case, it's a quick report on the gym, what's happening this day, and what trainers are in there. But I can see a report very quickly, all hosted with the same data. And I'll go into more detail of that when I go to the next part. So hopefully that gave you a good idea of some of the clients, some of the products in there. I showed the solution that's on the iPad to start off with. So there's the same solution there, but actually on my iPad. So let me just quickly show you how that client works. So we've got FileMaker Go down in the right-hand side there. And if I just quit out of that app, so we can see that I've got down the bottom here, I'll just make that a little bit bigger. You can see it. There you go. So you can see we've got recent files that I've opened, files that are actually on the device. So you can actually design a FileMaker file and have it offline on the iPad itself, which is incredibly useful, gets used a lot. So you can have a sort of a section of the app that is offline, and then once you come back into Wi-Fi, you can push those jobs or whatever you've done back to the main file, back to the server. So we've got files on the device itself, and then if we go over to the hosted files, these are the ones that we can go and look in. We probably have them favorited there, but we can see that we can connect into local servers and see what files are on there and go straight in. Okay. So let's go and see how you would start off. Obviously, that was a file. By the way, I promised to tell you where the 10 hours was in that file, and I forgot. So the 10 hours was most of that signing in process. That was about a 10-hour project, roundabout. So getting that process of filling out 3 or 4 forms and sending an email, that was a kind of a 10-hour process with one of our professional developers. So let's see how you could get started, how you could look at developing your own file. Well, one of the best places to start off with is a starter solution. So let's have a look at what they are. So they are fully built FileMaker solutions. They're shipped with the product. They're in the product as you install it. So they're there for you to quickly grab, and I'll show you how to do that. But they are completely open. You open them with full admin rights, your admin no password, and you can start customizing straight away. You can maybe one of these starter solutions is sort of 80-90% there of what you really want, or it's 150 and you want to remove some functionality. Completely up to you, and you can customize by adding different sort of labels to the solution, different fields to start adding information in, rearranging the layouts, whatever you want, putting your custom logo in there, your company logo, all completely up to you. So you can even go into 3 or 4 other starter solutions and in some cases literally cut and paste functionality and layouts into the starter solution that you want. So that's another way of doing getting started very quickly. And all of them come with views that work very nicely on the desktop, on the web, and the iOS forms. So let's have a look. Just take my iPad to the side. So you get to them by going up, File, and Getting Started. And within this dialog, you can see that you can choose a starter solution, which we're down here, and there's a few of the new ones that shipped in our latest version, FileMaker 15. We've got contacts. As you can see, the new ones have been designed to be very, very lightweight, very clean, very easy to get started with. So you can see exactly what it is. So it's a very simple contacts sheet. Put all your contacts in there and get them shared with your work group. A very quick inventory solution that sort of tracks levels of products and supplies. We've got content management, very useful actually. It's amazing how many organizations don't have some kind of repository of images and documents and so on that maybe they've purchased from a third party and then lose because they're on someone's hard drive. So having some kind of content management of those sort of assets are very useful. So that's a great little file. And tasks is one of my little favorites. It's very simple task management solution, but again, because it's customizable, you could start adding your own process in there. So I really like that one. But in the last version, we had a lot of very nice files, but they were more advanced. So if you did want to go and have a look at some of these more advanced ones, you'd click onto that link and see all the different ones in there. The one if you're a bit more advanced, or once you've looked at the first simple start solution, the invoice one is a great one to look at. It has different parts to it, lots of different tables. It has customers products or services and an invoice line. So it's it's a good example of relationships and scripting and so on. So that's my personal recommendation, my personal favorite. But let's have a look at the task one, if I can find it. There it is. So let's start with the task. So when you open it up, it hasn't got a lot of data in there at all. And let's look at how, if I just get rid of that dialog, let's have a look at adding some of the information in. So it's already created one record. There's already run one record in there. Say you've got a website project coming up. When is the due date for the when must it go live? The status of whoops, I've been in too many dates there. So the status of the project or the task. You can edit the categories to add as many categories as you'd like. Web team maybe. And add that in, and then of course write a description of the job, and then no task would be a task without adding somebody in there. So we can add their email address and their phone and so on, and then once you've done that once, you could go into this add assignee and have a list of all the people that you would want to assign to a job. You can add files in there as well, so that's great. Let's see if I've got a file I could just quickly put in there to see, so you can see what it looks like. There you go. So you can put images into here, or documents maybe. Let's see what else I got. I think I've got a text document here. Just a log file. So you can also put text and document files in there as well, and have them out, which is great. Or you can click on the button here and actually put a file in there as well. Okay, so let's go back one. So we go back to our task. We can see that we would have a list once we start building up our task. We would task 2 and so on. You can see that we'd be building up a list, but the list is filtered and actually is a mini report in its own right. In this case, it looks like it's filtered on the date, which again, like I say, or said at the start, is that you can go in and modify all of this. So within here, you can see that it's all of the fields are in here. You could add your own text. Let's say task report. You have nice little guides here so to center it and everything else that you need to do with the text. So you can add text, you can delete things, of course. It's totally up to you to customize this report. Okay, so let's have a look at this and how would we, let's get this up onto the server and then show you how to share it with the other clients. So again, we'd be going up to file sharing. I'd upload that to the FileMaker server. We get a little security warning when we are first developing because we haven't put a proper admin password on there. I'm going to set it now, so it's a bit more secure. So that will be closed for us, and then we go and find our local server, upload to the server. It already exists, so I'm just going to change the name on there to task webinar, and then just try that again. Okay, that's being uploaded now. Great, so it's now on the server, so like I say, that could be on-premise or in the cloud. We can now upload it, and like I did before, you can share it with other people on FileMaker Pro, or again, you can send that email, that link to the database, also to people on an iPad. That will work as well. So talking about the iPad, let's bring that over and show you how you access. So I'm on the same local area network, but I'll go down to the hosts. I go to the server that I want, and there you can see the reason it failed uploading first time, because there was already a file on there called tasks. So I've put in the one that we've just designed, tasks webinar, and again challenged on the iPad as well. Worth just quickly pausing here. Let me just increase that so you can see it. So you can see here also you have the option, which is one of the newest sort of features in 15, which is absolutely brilliant. I love, is that you can save the username and password in the keychain. So that's an encrypted keychain on the iPad. So that username and password gets saved. So not only do you not get challenged with the password in the future, but you can also require a Touch ID so that you have to put your fingerprint on the Touch ID to get into the file, which just makes it is very secure, but it makes it seem even more secure by having that functionality. So I can log in, and you can see that we've got the same file there. Going into the file, I can see all the different notes that I can see on the other one. So maybe on the process, we'd say it's now pending, let's say, and save that off. Great. So we can change the data, on both the desktop and on the iPad. So last but not least, let's see how we can get it deployed onto the browser. So we're just going to go to sharing, and we're just going to go down to configure for WebDirect and see whether that's turned on, which it's not. So we're just, usually you would specify a security group to really make it much more secure, that only certain people can get in via the browsers. But in this case, just for the demo, we'll just put it to all users. So if we go back to my browser, we should see that now be there, which is great. And we can go in, we can go into it and go, let me just try with a different browser. There you go. So we can go into the file, same username and password, and have access to that file within a browser as well. So all three, there you go. Very, very easy to get going, to get started, and to start looking at some kind of mobile strategy present or solving one of those scattered information issues. So if this was useful, but you'd like to learn a lot more, there's several different avenues you can go to. Of course, you can go to our website. We've got lots more webinars that have planned in the future, and also recorded ones that you can have a look at. You can go to our website as well and have a look at the FileMaker training series and go and have a look at those. They're a great learning resource when you're getting started. But if you're a bit more advanced than that and you'd like to have a sort of formal sit-down training session, Transmedia are one of our major training partners in the UK. As you can see, they've got 3 offices across England, one in Bristol and 2 in London. So do give them a look at transmedia.co.uk. And it just ends up for me to say thank you very much, and thank you for joining us today. I hope you found that useful. And just thanks for joining us.